We're glad you're with us. I'm Lynn Brooks.
And I'm Terry Brewer. Parts of West Alabama are looking at some heavy rain tonight, and it could lead to flooding.
That is right. For the latest now on exactly what you can expect, here's Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott. Hi, Richard.
Hey, Lynn, good Tuesday afternoon to you. Watching things close on Home Team Interactive Radar. The good news is all storms below severe limits, but a lot of lightning. Even these tiny storms producing an incredible amount of lightning out there. Certainly, if you're near one of these storms, just head on indoors and don't take that chance of getting struck by lightning. Now, some of these storms we're talking about, northern Tuscaloosa County moving out of Samantha now towards the Wiley community up 69 and 43, and probably some small hail in that as well. Maybe some pea-sized hail, but strong winds are possible as well. And we're talking some really heavy rain. In fact, some of these stronger storms could put down over an inch of rain in less than 30 minutes out there. Now, our forecast tonight calling for heavy rain. Temperatures actually rising tonight. We're in the 50s now. We'll be in the upper 50s by midnight. Stay with us for much more on the news at 5 o'clock.
When the state closes Partlow Developmental Center this September, more than 400 people will be out of a job, and that has many employees worried about their future. State officials say they anticipate close to 400 jobs created in the private sector, and job preservation for current employees is a priority. But that brings little comfort to Ronaldo Kelly. He works closely with residents of Partlow and says worrying about his job can be a real distraction from those who need him the most.
We deal with them. We there when various changes go along in their family. We there to console them. And as well to try to help deal with their issue the best way that we know how. But yet and still keep our own personal, things in the wraps as well.
Kelly says the issue affects the entire community and says he and fellow employees hope to have a roundtable discussion to help the workers and families affected by Partlow's closing.
On your Crime Watch, a man wanted in connection with a Northport murder case has been captured. The Tuscaloosa Metro Homicide Unit says 30-year-old Oscar Moran Rivera was taken into custody around 8 o'clock last night. Captain Lloyd Baker says Rivera was arrested by the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force in Lafayette, Alabama. That's in Chambers County, right about 13 miles from the Georgia state line. Rivera is facing charges of murder in connection with the death of Victor Rosas. Baker says the incident started Saturday morning as a residence on 37th Street in Northport. Witnesses say Rosas had gone with Rivera to the store. Baker says when they returned, Rosas was bleeding from the neck and later died. Rivera is now being held in the Tuscaloosa County Jail. It is back to court today for former Birmingham Mayor Larry Langford.
He was asking a federal appeals court to overturn his convictions. Last year, Langford was convicted of bribery, fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy. Langford says prosecutors ignored federal evidence rules and improperly brought up his links to gambling. State attorneys claim they did nothing wrong when they did not edit out about $100,000 in gambling receipts from his tax returns. Langford was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. That's after he was convicted of 60 counts of corruption related to actions when he was the head of the Jefferson County Commission. WVUA is covering the Alabama legislature. That's where lawmakers are considering phasing out the Deferred Retirement Option Program, also called DROP. That program rewards some teachers and state employees for putting off their retirement. According to the Retirement Systems of Alabama annual financial report, more than 7,700 people are currently enrolled in DROP. The bill is on the calendar for the Senate, which means it could come up for a vote at any time. Officials say if it passes, it will then go over to the House for a vote. If they approve the bill, it will go to the governor for his signature.
Now the latest on the Gulf oil disaster. BP says it wants to access a key piece of evidence in the federal investigation. BP says further testing of the failed blowout preventer will help determine why it didn't work. Last April, a rig explosion in the Gulf of Mexico killed 11 people and sent millions of gallons of oil pouring into the Gulf. BP's request comes on the heels of the government's decision to halt testing last Friday. A federal job has not made a decision yet.
The prime suspect in the case of missing Alabama teen Natalee Holloway is heading to court. Joran Vandersloot is expected to plead guilty to killing Stephanie Flores, a Peruvian woman he met gambling. An attorney for Vandersloot says that he killed Flores after she learned of his relationship to Natalee Holloway. She went missing on a graduation trip, you may recall, to Aruba back in 2005. Holloway was last seen leaving a club with Vandersloot, and he remains the prime suspect in that case. If the plea is accepted in the Flores case, Vandersloot would be sentenced to 3 to 5 years. If he's charged with murder, that carries a 15 to 35-year sentence on conviction.
Hundreds of people learned about how to get healthy today at Shelton State Community College. The 2011 Wellness and Health Fair brought dozens of organizations from around the community to Shelton State. They provided information on lots of issues like getting fit, fighting diabetes, and protection from domestic abuse, just to name a few. The event was organized by Dr. Natalee Murphy with the Shelton State Wellness Center. She says getting fit now can save you money in the long run.
The number one thing now is lowering individual health care costs, and it's the bottom line. And one of the best ways to lower your family's health care costs is to see the value of physical activity and exercise, to see it as a tool, as one of the most powerful ways not only to improve your health and your body composition, but to lower health care costs for you and your family.
And if you made it out to the fair today, you might have recognized some familiar faces. WVUA's Janie Wallace, also Vicki Richardson from our programming department, Claire Stewart and Matt McCoy were on hand to talk with the community about WVUA.
Say aloha to the happiest state in the union. In a new survey, Hawaii comes out in first place. According to Gallup's Healthways Wellbeing Index, Hawaii is first in the nation for overall well-being. Alabama came in at number 46. That survey asked residents of all 50 states to evaluate their lives. They focused on physical, emotional health, happiness at work, and overall health and safety in their community. Also coming in near the top, Wyoming, North Dakota, and Alaska. And at the bottom of the list, West Virginia, Kentucky, and Mississippi.